The Hideaway. It was the start of what seemed to be a warm and pleasant day. My eyes fluttered open as golden light faintly streamed in through the window of the cabin. Hauling myself out of the comfy bed was a challenge, but I eventually stood up and shuffled out of the bedroom and into the common area, cringing at the creak of the wooden door as I opened it. Looking around the room, it was empty except for Nathaniel, a cousin of mine who was seated at the kitchen table. A bowl of Cheerios sat in front of him, untouched, as he stared down at his phone. I said good morning to him, although he was too preoccupied to notice. Only when I started walking past him to reach the cupboard did he turn his head and say, "Oh, morning." I then prepared a bowl for myself and sat next to him. We chatted about how our vacation was going so far and if we were enjoying ourselves. A half hour passed, and I decided that I should get dressed and go do something that day, and so I did. Going back to the bedroom for my duffel bag, I changed into some actual clothing. With my khaki cargo shorts and long green American flag shirt tied at the waist by the use of a hairband, I was ready to face the day. Strapping on my black sandals and clasping my arrowhead necklace around my neck, I walked to the front door, said goodbye to Nathaniel, and stepped outside. The air was warm with a light breeze blowing in from the north. Everyone must be at the lodge, I thought. Making my way to the lodge, I walked up its creaky, moss-covered steps and joined the rest of my family. 1 o'clock came quickly, and the weather turned just as fast. The warm weather faded away as dark clouds rolled in, followed by heavy winds. Within a few minutes, heavy rain started to fall, and I thought I should go and check on Nate. On my way back to the cabin, something caught my attention. I glanced over at Uncle Joe's forest green Jeep and saw that the windows had been left open. Rushing back to the cabin, I informed Nathaniel, who was still on his phone watching a movie, of the situation. To no surprise, his carefree attitude morphed into one of panic as he quickly shot up from the couch and began to frantically search for the keys. I joined him, but to no avail. We then decided to attempt and waterproof the Jeep. After taking a large roll of black, hefty trash bags with us, we ran outside. Our feet sloshed around in what had now become mud as raindrops beat down on us. Pulling one bag after the other, we draped them over the leather seats, lodged them in the windows, and opened one up to cover the steering wheel. With one part of our job done, we rushed to find my uncle. "Uncle Joe!" We yelled, but our sound simply got lost in the howl of the wind. Where was he? We thought. Then a sudden realization struck us. We remembered he had taken to the nearby lake an hour before to fish. Standing on the old wooden pier, we yelled once more across the lake. Nothing. At this point, I wanted to slow down and assess the situation. Turning around with my back to Nathaniel, I started to think. I spun back around to see Nate with his shoes off as he sat in a yellow kayak that was tied to the pier. Without a moment to process, I jumped in. It was very awkward as this kayak was not made for two people. We each grabbed a paddle and sat back to back. Working in unison, we untied the kayak and began our arduous journey. With each stroke, it became increasingly harder to move our arms. The raindrops felt like bullets as they hit our skin, and the waves tossed us to and fro. There was no time to complain about our pains or our heavily soaked clothes. Eventually, we made it to the middle of the lake where my uncle was. He was grateful that we told him about our attempts to save his Jeep, and said that he would take care of the rest later. And so, our adventure came to an end. But a year later, the vivid experience still lingers in my mind.